Good morning, everybody. Orin J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we are going to do a preview video for our newest Warrior of the Crystal unit, dropping this Wednesday in the global version of the game. That's Velis, the Warrior of the Crystal's Ice, and he's looking really good, especially considering his element and the gap he's going to fill for ice players out there. I think he's going to do a great job at it, and we're going to talk about why. Now, his main job, Warrior of the Crystal Ice, sub-job, Scholar, and Arithmetician. Two very strong sub-jobs, and anytime I see Arithmetician, I love instant cast spells. Casting time will destroy you in this game. I hate seeing my mages standing there channeling a spell while the other team kills whoever they're trying to heal or burns them down. Now, Sub-Arithmetician will give you access to instant cast things, but he's also got a lot of cast time reduction in his kit. Now, Warrior of the Crystal's Ice. What is this? Well, let's read what the game says as the description here. The game describes it as a rear guard healer class, a job capable of healing allies in a wide area of effect, lowering the opponent's ice resist to deal massive damage, and inflicting frostbite. So they're saying he's a healer who does a lot of damage and has annoying status effects. Why is this particularly exciting for ice players? Well, if we look at Ice's current UR repertoire, they have a lot of tools here. They have a lot of piercing damage, right? You got Aranea, Laswell has it, Victoria, you got a lot of swords with Orin and Velric, you got magic with Valentine's Day Selir and kind of also Gilgamesh in a weird way, but he's a monster. You got Barrett is kind of a tank, you've got Fryevia who's a very good tank, and you have future super goddess tank Agrius whenever we get hooked up with that 120. So you have a lot of tools here as Ice, but you're really lacking for support options. Yes, you can do time made shenanigans with Gilgamesh and Selir, but you'd really rather them be killing the enemy in a lot of cases. So Velis might just add a fill a niche here, fill a gap that is otherwise missing in the ice element. Now, when I hear of a unit who does healing, but also does a lot of damage and is particularly annoying to deal with, I think of this unit right here. I think of Halloween Lilela, because let's be real, she does a lot of damage. She's also supposed to be a healer. She's super hard to deal with. I think she's a really good comparison for what Velis could be if their AIs work the same in auto PvP. If we're scoping out their stats, very similar HP numbers, right? Almost the same. Same with magic, basically just checking each other. He does have one more agility than her, so they're both fast. He does also have a little bit more luck at 237. Luck is a stat, you guys, that you need to just pay attention to going forward. There is so much evade in this game right now. High luck will help you hit things, important stat. Now, basically, they're like a wash. If you compared all those stats we just talked about, they kind of look like the same unit. The big difference in their stat pool comes in the form of their tankiness. Velis has 6 defense and 12 spirit just coming to the group, right? Before you put anything on him. Lilela, 0 and 0. Also, if you look at resist, Lilela is weak to every physical attack type. Velis is only weak to strike and actually brings a little bit of strength against slash, which there's a ton of mono slash in the meta right now, and then both units are strong to magic. So Velis on paper looks to be similar like power level to Lilela, at least in terms of stats, but with more survivability, and that's a really good thing. Now, we need to talk about him a little more here, and the way to do that is of course to go look at him in WoTV, because WoTV is a phenomenal resource, and if you don't use WOTV-calc.com, you're missing out on a huge part of this game, I'm just going to tell you. So here's our guy, Velis. Let's look at his Trustmaster first. So if you pull this guy and you're thinking about taking him to 99, is it worth it just for this and then to slow build him? I want to say some things about this Trustmaster. The ability on it is insanely good. It is an AoE buff and a nice big AoE with 2 uses that decreases AP consumption for 3 turns for your group while simultaneously restoring 10 AP. So that's a very good buff. The limiting factor here is the equipable jobs. It is essentially equipable only by mages in the game. Like, this is a very limiting field of classes that can equip this. I will say though, take a class like Red Mage, which if you're doing PvE content can bring important debuffs to your team, but they have to get really close to be able to do that. So if I'm running like an Adelard, for example, on a fire PvE team, while I'm closing the gap on the boss to do a resistance break, I sometimes lack for other things to do. This TMR could be a very powerful thing to bring out right there. And then in PvP, I think the power of AP consumption down with an AP restore in a big AoE speaks for itself. That's obviously super powerful. So I do like this TMR. It's not equipable by a whole lot of people. And then the stat line is okay for an accessory. You're getting some HP, defense, spirit, and then crucially some accuracy. So a good TMR. I would not get him just for that though, personally, but I do think it has some good uses. Okay, his master ability. HP 10, ice attack 15 for the group. You're counting on that with all your new units. And then I think his master ability is both unique and awesome. He has decreased chance of being targeted 3, so he starts a fight by dropping aggro. With Ice, who has a lot of hard to kill, high damage other units, you have a choice here of, instead of running like a dedicated tank, you could run just like 2 high damage bruisers in Velis and let him just say, hey, don't hit me, hit those other 2 people, and I will heal them through whatever damage you're doing. I think this is really cool. And then activation time down 300 for himself is nice because his main job is all cast time magic. Getting cast time reduced will give him some instant cast. If not actually instant cast, what will feel kind of like instant cast, or at least quicker. Now, let's go look at his skills. This is really what's going to tell the story. His support abilities really kind of lend themselves to what this guy's supposed to be. Let's look at these first 2. Deep Snow, which gets upgraded to Wanyanaxu. Yeah, that's what it's going to be called in Global for sure. And then Scholar's Knowledge. These 2 give you Spirit up, Healing Power up, AoE Resistance 20. 20 AoE Resistance from a support ability is next level great. And then Scholar's Knowledge, if you want some defense and accuracy, this is a big one right here. Defense and accuracy up is really nice. So if you wanted to be like a tankier support guy, which I think is a really good idea, you have the choice of just running these, where you're getting accuracy, tankiness. It's great. If you want more magic, which will help for damage and healing, you do have access to magic up 30%. And then you have height 2 upgrade. You have more casting time down, and then another level 4 to level 3 upgrade right here for arithmetician. So I particularly like these first 3. Unless you want to go for like instant cast stuff, you could go with preliminary chanting. Okay, for counter abilities, he has one very, very good one. Although not on the level of Reflex, because let's be real, Reflex is like the most broken thing in War of the Visions. He does have anti-ice healing. Check this out. It is a very long range for a counter ability. 20%, does 121% damage and absorbs it. So again, he's a hard guy to kill, which means he's probably not going to get one shot. And if he procs anti-ice healing, he might just drain all the damage you did to him back into himself. Really fits in well with his kit, in my opinion, and I like that a lot. He also has just regular counter magic, and then he has damage distribution, which is a much softer hitting, same percent chance of happening move. Now, the benefit of damage distribution is it is typeless. The anti-ice healing is a magic attack, so it will be blocked by magic resist. Just something to keep in mind, although I think you run this probably all the time. Okay, what about his main job? What are his actual attacks? What are his actual moves? Well, Icicle is just a very, very basic magic damage. This is cheap. 13 AP, a lot of cast. This is just a thing he'll just do when he needs something to do that's cheap and easy. So, okay, that's fine. Ice's Blessing. This is a self buff that is a magic steroid, 40% for 3 turns. Again, that will help with both his healing and his damage. And then it gives him Protect and Shell. So perfect for his kit, makes him tankier, makes him heal harder, hit harder. I love that skill a lot. Ice Heal, which gets upgraded to Snow Heal, which I hope they keep that called the same. Snow Heal, kind of neat. This is a big AoE, right? A big AoE heal. 210%, which will be a nice big heal, and then 15 AP restore on top of that. So your units are out there fighting. Your Orin and your RNA are out there trading shots with the enemy. They're low. He drops his heal on them. They get AP back, and he has some nice ways of messing with AP in his kit. Really, really like that. Absolute Temperature right here. This is an ice resistance debuff for 3 turns to the target that deals 220% magic damage. Now, this is one of his okay, when I'm talking about PvE, a lot of times in PvE, you are looking for chainers or like debuffers or thieves, or somebody who can manipulate time a little bit. One thing that he could contribute to PvE is an ice resistance debuff for your ice chainers, and then you would need to give him some other things to do. He could also contribute haste, which is, this is probably one of his coolest TP moves, by the way. It is a ranged haste, right? So you target an ally, you give them haste, and he also gives himself haste. Really strong move there. And then his job level 25 ability, Permafrost, gives him 40 spirit penetration, does large AoE damage, 220%, and this is the first time you're seeing spirit penetration for this guy. A lot of newer units have spirit penetration or defense penetration built into their support abilities if their main role is to be a damage dealer. His is tied into one of his damaging skills, which again makes me think like he's supposed to be more of a backline supporter who can chip in damage when he needs to and hit in big time AoEs. Now, his main job sub-job offers some really cool skills. One of them is freezing ice crystals. It is 180% modifier. Hits in a weird cross-shaped AoE right here, but 45% chance to inflict frostbite. Plus decreased chance by 20% if you have haste. So I don't know exactly how to read this. If this means it is harder for you to do this if you are hasted, that's bad. If it means it's better for you to do this if you're hasted, it's good. Again, translations from the JP side. Anyway, just know, frostbite is devastating. You drop frostbite on an enemy, it drains their AP, they're turned into auto attack bots. It's an awesome thing to put on your enemy. So he has access to that in an AoE, even if an interesting AoE. And then Act Break. This is a CT decrease and AP knockoff. I was going to say drain, but he doesn't drain it, he just decreases it in a small AoE for targets. Note it costs AP, and it's rare to see an AP skill that does not do damage. This does not do damage, it just hits him in the AP and the CT, but pretty cool looking. 3 casts of it could be another useful bit for him in high-end PvE situations. He has Scholar. You can run this if you want some extra defense buffs built into your kit, as well as some more magic damage. And then you have You also have an ice attack buff in here, which could also be good for PvE if you don't want him breaking chains. And then Arithmetician. This is where you're going to get access to more instant cast healing, more instant cast damage. If the cast time reduction is not already enough for you, there's a ton of instant cast stuff in here that could be really fun to mess with. And then you got his Limit Break. Now, I want to mention his Limit Break because it is a 100% hit chance move. There is so much evasion in the game right now, and the easiest way to counter it is bring 100% hit moves with you. His LB, a 200% modifier, nice big range, small AoE, but an AoE, which will also give him a physical damage barrier. So this is a very good move, will help against the current evasion meta that we're going through. Boom, and that's his kit. So, am I going to pull for a Velis? Well, let me put my game back on the screen here. I love my ice players. Like, I love my Gilgamesh. I especially love Laswell and Orin. It should be obvious why I love Orin. I love Spear Ladies. I would really like to add Velis to this team. I don't know how hard personally I'm going to go for him, but I am going to take some shots at him, especially since I missed out on Renan on the last Warrior of the Crystal run. If you're new and you don't know how these Warrior of the Crystal banners work, basically anytime we get a new Warrior of the Crystal, those are the banners where you have a pretty good chance of catching the old ones as well. So if you want Joom, or you want, Renan, or you want Setia, who's been very, very good for fire lately, this would be the banner where you have a chance of not only getting the newest unit, but catching one of those older ones as well. And that's the video. So thank you guys for watching. If you're pulling, good luck. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.